What's going on, y'all? I just got back from the theater from seeing Avatar: Way of Water. Um, I personally enjoyed it overall, and I seen a lot of like before I went to go see it. I seen a lot of thumbnails that were saying like, "Is it worth the wait?" and stuff like that. To be honest with you, like I don't think any movie would have been like worth the wait. Like 10 years plus, I think, or it might be 10 years exact. No, it's like 10 years plus. I think like 2 years and or 10 years and like 2 years added, so like 12 years in total, or maybe like 13 around there, right? But I do think this movie should have came out a little sooner. Overall, I enjoyed it. I feel like if you enjoyed the last one, you'll love this one. I genuinely love the movie overall. It does hit the typical story beats, and you do expect what is gonna come next, right? Like you can make a estimated guess, like a real good educated guess on what's gonna come next. Like you don't even really like a real educated guess. Like you can just really like see the flow of the movie. You see what I'm saying? Like you can really, it's real easy to understand the flow of the movie. Um, like I said, not too many like super surprises. It was like a visual movie in the way they showed it. It was just cool seeing, Jake and his family. That's what we got to see in the beginning. We got to see Jake and his family in the beginning. You see that the sky people, the humans, come down to Pandora. As soon as they come down, they just burning everything burning. You kind of see that. Then, 1 year passes. They do a time skip, I guess, to say that to put in perspective that the humans have like got here, stayed here for like a year, and they just been building. Then we dive in a little more deep into it. We know this new squad that's going to be looking for Jake, and because their main objective is to get Jake. Like they landed and they was on vengeance time. Like they was vengeance. Like literally, that's what they were on. And kind of what we seen in the trailers, like avatars walking around with guns and stuff. It was the army people. It was actually, I believe his name is the Colonel. Um, it was him from the last movie, the general or the colonel, whatever, that was ordering Jake around the last movie, trying to get him to, infiltrate the natives and persuade them to either move or he, just murder them. The colonel in the last movie, he just wanted to basically wipe them out, and he got murked. But like I said, we figure out that he comes back, right? But he's dead, right? Because we saw he got murdered. Somehow they're able. This is what I also kind of didn't like. They're able to take the memories of dead soldiers and implement them into the man-made avatar bodies. So that was he was the antagonist, and Jake was the, you know what I'm saying? Like I would say Jake and his family was the protagonist. Like it kind of, it was more, instead of just being Jake this film, it was like him and his family and his not his oldest son, but the I'm bad on names, by the way, because the names kind of get confusing. I just feel like they should have had the subtitles. When somebody talk, let me know who's talking, and let me know how their name is, said and pronounced and spelled. You know what I mean? Just so I can understand a little bit better. Sorry if I'm not really saying the names, but I'll try to make it clear who I'm talking about. But anyway, but yeah, basically, it wasn't just Jake as the protagonist. It was more of like him and his family. Like, I feel like he was still like the protagonist, but it kind of, we got to explore his family and see things from their perspectives, and I'll get to that much like later on. But so basically it was Jake, he's the protagonist. The Colonel, he was the antagonist, and he also had a son, Spider. But also, like, where did he come from? Like, we still don't know how he was, like, who's the mother to Spider. That's one thing that I feel like I'm pretty sure they like left in the air, because we never got any confirmation on who was his mother, unless I missed it. And same thing with Grace, his daughter. She's OP. I really enjoyed her as well. But we don't understand, or we never got confirmation on how she was born. So there was just a couple things. The DNA, the dead soldier DNA into the avatar bodies, kind of put me in question, and how Spider and Grace, how they were both, conceived. Like, who's the dad? Who's the mom? Is it Grace, and did Grace and them, did Grace and the Colonel do something? I don't know. Like, I'm truly confused on that. not really understanding that. Maybe we'll figure it out in the third one because they might have a third one. But I also have notes if I kind of get lost too. The time skip itself was kind of weird, but the main goal for the new Avatar crew was, to find Jake. So they go to Jake and they're trying to find him and hunt him. They actually kidnap the kids. I hate when, villains do this. And I do feel like he's a villain because on the first one, you came to their territory trying to bother them, trying to get them off the land for resources. That's villain type thing. That's villain type activity. Like, you don't even live here, you know what I mean? But anyway, tries to find, like I said, they land there. 1 year later, time skip, humans been building and working there. They hunt down Jake with, the colonel. He has an avatar body and he has a group of avatar soldiers with him that, they're called the Blue Crew, I believe, in the movie, and they're looking for Jake. They find Jake's kids. They actually wind up capturing them. Jake and his wife actually wind up getting all of them free. Jake is like the leader of the natives in the forest. He has to retire that so he can move on somewhere else because he feels like he has to keep moving, to stay away from this, because he feels like they'll just destroy, him all. That destroy the, everything and destroy them all. When they did that though, I don't know if they showed it or not, but what if they went, back to the forest and just wiped it out? Like, what was stopping the colonel from wiping out the forest? I don't think they did, but what was stopping them? Like, where's Jake? And they could have been like, we don't know, I don't know, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so by him saying, I gotta prevent them from destroying anything, like, if they're not gonna find you, I feel like they would have did anything it takes, they would have did anything. The colonel would have did anything it took to find you. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. They didn't even show anything about the forest. But anyway, so Jake had to retire being the leader in the the forest where he lived with the natives in the forest. He's a native now. He had children and all that, but to protect the rest of the natives, he felt like he had to move and leave. So he went to the ocean people, or the water people, and he was learning their ways. They didn't want to accept him at first, but eventually, they were accepted. The kids still had the little, like, him and his Jake's kids, they got into it with the water tribe kids. They got into a little scuffle, a little fight, then one of Jake's kids, I believe it wasn't the eldest one. It was like the one under the eldest one, the brother, the one under the older brother. And as an age, that's what I'm saying. And he had gotten to a fight, he had kind of initiated the fight with one of the water tribe children. And so I guess they were going to all like be friends and put that in the past. So we're going to go on a little trip. I would have thought something was suspect with that. Went on a little trip. Things go bad. They trick him and betray him. They wind up trying to leave him out in the water to get lost or to get killed because a creature pops up and tries to kill him. One of the whale type creatures, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. One of the whale type creatures comes over and saves him. And he starts bonding with that creature. The water tribe people called that creature an outcast of the tribe, that creature, because it killed, they believed that it killed a lot of its own kind and all that, but in reality it was protecting and trying to rebel against the Scott people that came and attacked them a while ago. But they, bonded. That he became an ally, the big giant whale. And soon later, Spider, I forgot to mention this, he had actually got captured when Jake and his people saved the children back in Pandora. Spider got captured, so he was been with the colonel the whole time. And Spider, that the colonel is his dad. So it was just this super like unique dynamic that they had. The colonel hates natives, but he's a native. Your son believes not believe. He basically, I'm not gonna say he believes. He is a native essentially. Like he's not literally a native, but he's been around that. That's all he knows, Spider. So he's basically a native. You know what I'm saying? Um, so he's just teaching the Colonel. You know, Spider's teaching his dad the native ways and how to ride animals and beast and bond with beast and stuff like that. So it was just a unique little thing to see that. And like I said, Spider was with the Colonel the whole time. So eventually the Colonel decided he got a signal near the water area, you know. So they went down there searching for Jake. Kids get captured again. Big fight happens. Things go really south because, you know, spoiler alert, you know, but this is a review. So if you haven't seen the movie, you know, but I'm going to just say spoiler alert. You know, things go south. One of the children wound up dying. The oldest brother, I believe it was. Grace, you also see that she's able to connect with their deity, you know, the God in their religion and within their people. Like that stuff is real though with them. You know what I'm saying? Like they was like Grace. I believe her name's Kitty, right? She was touching, you know, with their hair. The hair connection thing, she was touching, you know, the plants and stuff like that. She was making them grab, you know, the enemy and do all types of things. It was insane. Grace is OP. She's one of my favorites. She did have a seizure earlier, and that was pretty intense. But you know, she made it out. But it does suck that, you know, one of the children died. I feel like I said, it hits those typical story beats. So you see it coming. Like you see somebody's gonna die, somebody's gonna get hurt. You notice that, you know, the kids get captured. And you notice that they're gonna probably get captured again, just the way how they're just so interested in things, you know, and they keep on wandering off. You know what I mean? But like I said, the last little battle kind of happens around in the ocean and stuff like that. They kind of get in a dangerous spot. You know, the kids get captured, but the big whale creature from earlier, you notice that the son starts getting real mad. So he built that connection with the whale, so he kind of can call upon him to help and rescue him. And you kind of assume that because when he goes back to the village after he interacted with him the first time, he's like, go, go, go. I'll see you later. So you can kind of already assume that, you know, we're going to come back later and he's going to help him out. So that's what he winds up doing. They're all on the ship. The big whale creature, he's smart as crap because he jumped on the... And I just love the interaction with the natives, how with the ocean people... the big whales that can interact and talk, and it's just dope. I love the film is just about family and bonding. But anyway, the whale came, jumped on the ship, and basically helped the children out and rescue, you know, the children, and helped rescue the children, because before that the Colonel wanted Jake to come out by himself, but then the whale did that in the distraction. Big whole fight happens, and you know, Jake's kid winds up getting shot. Last fight goes down. They're in the first it was, you know, Jake and the Colonel just fighting, boxing. Then he wound up grabbing Kitty with a knife like that. And everybody was like in it. They were all like, you know, about it, like they were on the ship, you know what I'm saying? But it was sinking. And that's when Jake's wife saw the opportunity to grab Spider and just grab him by the neck and do that. I was like, bro, was she really about to do that though? I don't know. It looked like she was. She did say earlier though, Jake, or not Jake, but I keep on calling Jake. I keep on calling Spider the wrong name, sorry. But we noticed Jake's wife said earlier in the beginning of the movies to Spider, she was like, he's not one of us. You know what I mean? He needs to be with his own people. I will say L Spider kind of, bro, because I understand this is your dad, bro, but you still at the end, like, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry, but they was fighting at the end. Jake's wife grabbed Spider with the knife like that, just like how Grace's just like how Jake, or not Jake, just like how the Colonel had Kitty like that with the knife. Jake's wife did the same thing with Spider. And at first the Colonel was like, you think I care about some boy? And then the wife was like turning up, she was she was about to stab him. And that's when, boom, he just said, no. Like, he just removed the knife from Kitty, and then nobody got hurt, nobody got stabbed. Everybody started walking away. Right then and there, if he let go of Kitty and the kids are on one side and the two adults are right here in front of the villain, why didn't we just start poking him and shanking him with the knives and jump him? That's what we should have did, right? But they start fighting. Him and Jake do one last showdown. He's like, you're not going to go, are you, Jake? They start fighting. Boom, boom, boom. After they start fighting, Jake gets the best of him. He starts choking him out and then just lets him fall in the water. Knew he wasn't dead as soon as I saw that. Me personally, I know we're underwater, but I'm going to try to snap dude's neck. Like, straight up. I'm just going to try to snap his neck. Boom. But I understand. Didn't want to do that. He probably thought he was just dead or whatever. Turns out, like I just said, the Colonel wasn't dead. Spider actually winds up saving him. That's what I just don't get. Like, you wind up saving him. You seen him do all this fucked up shit firsthand to the natives of the ocean, of the natives of the water, but yet you still saved him. And not only did you save him and let him leave, you dissed him and didn't even leave with him. So you saw where he could go with his craziness, but you still saved him, and you still feel like Jake is your rightful father, but as you should, you know what I mean, logically. It's just, I don't feel like he should have been able, not should have been able, but he shouldn't have saved him. That's the only thing I didn't like. Like, Spider, you kind of iffy to me a little bit. Like, I feel like in the third one, right, if they make a third one, and I know that's all going to depend on box office and numbers and money. Hopefully they make a third one, because I actually enjoyed it. But I can actually see Spider, if he sees, his father again, that, the Colonel, that he would mess around, help him out with something else. We just don't know. I also love the parallels that, like, when Jake first seen the natives of the forest, they was calling him a baby. Oh, you're like a baby. His wife she wasn't his wife at the time, but now she is. But she was like, you're a baby. You're like a baby and all that, right? Then they all go to the natives of the water, and it's the parallel. You see the same thing. You're like a baby. You know what I'm saying? I just love seeing that. That parallel with that. And like I said, this movie is mainly about family and strength and nature and stuff like that. It's, like I said, I personally I don't really like giving it like movies ratings. I'll just say I enjoyed it a lot. Like I said earlier, if you like the first movie, you'll really love this one. That's what I truly believe. I think out of 2022, it's one of the better movies of 2022 for sure, in my opinion. Jake, he also has dreads. I don't know if he had him in the last one. I probably just was watching it, didn't pay attention to his hair. He probably had dreads towards the end of the first one. I'm not sure, but I really do like that he got dreads this one. Crispy, that's clean. Dreadhead, you know what I'm saying? Something about the dreadheads, you feel what I'm saying? Something about the dreads. No, I'm playing. But all in all, liked the movie. I also liked how it ended when it was Jake talking. He was showing the scenery of the movie and the water and all types of things. At first, he actually said to the leader of the water clan, he was like, "I'll leave," and then he was like, "Nah, you're one of us." Then, like I said, Jake was kind of talking in the background, and he was like, "All energy is borrowed. You got to give it back one day." Like, that's just so dope. That kind of remind me of some Full Metal Alchemist stuff right there. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I said, I personally enjoyed it. Overall, I know I probably said it a million times. Then at the very end, when it zoomed in on Jake's face, and he was like, "I now understand. This is my home, and I can't leave." It was something that's around that. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact quote, but it was something like that. It was just so dope. The phrases, the dialogue in this movie. Like I said, it's about family, strength, and nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the movie's about. It's not all about action, but I will say the action that they did have in the movie, I enjoyed it. Like, in the water, they flying with their animals, stabbing people. And speaking on animals, like, all the parallels, like how in the forest they have the animals that they bond with and they fly, and just like that, they have animals they fly with the water, including, you know, the big whale creatures. So I just think all of that is dope. And like I said, the other thing with Jake and them being called babies, and Jake was called a baby when he first seen the natives in the forest. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. Liked it. You liked the first one, you'll love this one. All right, I'm gonna get out of here before I keep on repeating the same thing.